What up? What up? It's time for recess. So, Del, we both had dates the other night. I'm curious to know how yours went
Yeah, I guess
because
you
I
can
know.
call mine a date.
Yeah, well, because that's exactly where I'm getting at. So I know you had a little bit of you kind of gave me a sneak preview of what was going to go down. So why don't you fill us in a little bit how that went?
I don't think it ended up being as I don't want to use the words extreme, but no, it was definitely there was a lot of intense hype leading up to it. Just about the discussions prior, but no, yeah, she definitely was explicit in what she wanted to do when we hung out. But no, actually, it was a good time. But so let me ask you this. I'll ask you a question. Have you ever tied someone up before?
No way. Are you serious?
So it didn't actually happen. No, but
Okay.
that was
Okay.
like so if we end up hanging out again, like that's probably gonna happen.
Well, because I know you mentioned that you mentioned the whole like being tying her up or something,
Cause
or
she
she
flat out
wanted to
said
be
it.
tied up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my point, like, so when I said I didn't know right how everything went, and when you just brought it up, like I'm like, you know what? Did it actually happen, or is he just bringing it up like that's what she was saying? So I wasn't sure if it went down or not. So you're saying it didn't, but like next time is a likely chance of going down.
Yeah, so we were just talking about this before off screen. Like I don't with roommates things are a little bit more difficult, so that's why I'd rather. I don't know. I just feel like I don't want to go. You can't go full out when there's people. Like I don't know,
In
but
the door, like a
I
room next to you, listening
know.
to everything that's going down. Yeah, I
Uh,
get it.
but yeah, no.
I mean,
It's
do you-
it's like I'm excited. I mean, I don't know. Like I think it's cool. Like people I don't know, like if I'm down to like like even just like things in general. I'm down to like talk about what you want, don't want, shit like that. Like I don't know, I'm pretty like easygoing and stuff. But yeah, no,
so let
I'm
me ask you
definitely
though, where was it a little like intimidating though, knowing how she was pretty direct coming into the whole situation, and then like she shows up, like were you prepared for that, or did you like it, dislike it? Because sometimes that can get a little bit overwhelming.
no, there's definitely because there's like expectations that it's like oh shit, like if I don't not necessarily if I don't meet all of them, it's it's bad or whatever. But like there's just a lot of like she knows what she wants, and it's like no, like I think it's good. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to like be upfront, especially like because obviously nowadays it's very like people always talk about like what is this person looking for a long term relationship, just want to hook up, blah blah blah. Like when it's like pretty when it's definitely agreed that it's just gonna be like a hookup, like nothing. Then I think it's like easy to like talk about like fun stuff, and it's like hey, like when we hang out, we're gonna do this. You want to do this? And then it's like yeah, check whatever. So I think like that I don't get intimidated by that, but I think but yeah, like I said, like I don't know, like there's definitely high, especially like because like most of our conversations leading up to hanging out was just we weren't really like talking to get to know each other. We were just talking about like very in detail things, I guess you'd
All right,
say.
so you're trying to keep this as G-rated as you
Like
can.
no, yeah, it was just I mean, there's just like very like just like Snapchats and and things like that. So it was definitely heated leading up to it. So there's definitely expectations, but nah, I don't
Okay,
know.
so now
I'm up
let
for a
me ask you
challenge,
this.
you know.
Well, it didn't seem like it was much of a challenge considering she was telling you everything she wanted.
That's true. Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, you said Snapchat, so I'm guessing that there were some provocative pictures being sent back and
Yes,
forth.
yes.
Okay, okay. Always good, always fun.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's like I don't use Snapchat like at all. But like when this was like, I think it was me who said it. I was like, this feels like a conversation that's like leading up to Snapchat, and she was like, honestly, like yeah, same. Like I don't use Snapchat either. And I was like, all right, cool, that's cool. So we literally like so I was like, all right, let's move to Snapchat. So, I mean, not like completely, but yeah, just for like the everyone, the few times there, it was very useful.
I can imagine. I mean, in my mind, I think Snapchat's one of the key apps that in situations like this that people use.
No, absolutely.
Whether it's shooting your shot with a girl because honestly, like whatever you say is gonna disappear, and it
I
is what it is,
know.
and it's gone. But I mean, granted, there's screenshots and stuff, but um, realistically, like that, I feel like Snapchat's more of a dating app than. I mean, I don't really use any of the other apps, but I feel like Snapchat's in a way a dating app. I
No,
guess
I
all apps
agree.
are.
I agree. Like, especially like you always hear like, oh, like, can I get your snap? Like, what's your snap? Like,
I hate that
I
honestly.
know. Me too.
I hate that. I met a girl out and well, I was with I don't know. I was out by myself. Like I went to a bar and I was kind of just like mingling, trying to meet new people and stuff. And it might sound a little creepy, but I promise you it wasn't.
Nah,
But
no.
anyway, so I was with a group of people and one of the girls was like into me and stuff, but I really wasn't into her at all. But as we were leaving, like we were kind of walking different ways, and I hear her yelling, like, "Add me on Snap," and like gave me her Snap name and whatever. And I'm like, "What?" Like, first of all, I'm not gonna remember your Snap name, okay? Some like Alley Cat 123. Like I don't know what it was, but some crazy name. Like how people have all these weird Snapchats from like their back in the day. But anyway, so I was like, I get turned off by that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can't
Yeah.
give me your number, like, I understand, like, yeah, you want to be kind of flirty through Snapchat, that's fine. But like, get my number and then get my Snapchat.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just don't like that. But
I think we're a
definitely,
little older. Snap's like a very
that
college
might be.
kid thing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Oh well, in college, it was definitely a big college app,
Yeah.
100%. Meet someone out, you get their number. But that's the other thing. You get their number, you're able to probably get their snap through that.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
So, but I don't know. That's all right. So you had a. I'm just gonna leave it at you had a pretty damn good night.
No, it was a yeah, it was a, it was a good Saturday. We were obviously careful with the whole COVID situation prior and
Right.
shit, but which unfortunately you have to do nowadays. But no, yeah, it was a good time. But and it's funny because like I technically like it was a date on Saturday, and then you went on a date on Saturday, but I think they went very differently. Just
Yeah, I would say so. I would say it went well. All right, so real quick, we'll get into my date in a second, but I guess I want to preface my conversation about what I'm gonna say with this question to you. So, obviously going into this hangout that you had with her, there was things discussed and like what was gonna go down and things like that. So, I'm assuming that you guys had kind of established that this was more of just like a fun thing and not really a long term thing.
yes.
Okay, so is that after hanging out with her, is that confirmed? Like, you think that that's it? Like, you're just gonna mess around a little bit, or did you have a really good time with her and was like, you know what? Like, even though this was just supposed to be like for fun, like she was cool and I could,
No, yeah, I
maybe
thought
do this more.
yeah, no, I definitely think she's cool, and I would definitely hang out with her again. Like the thing, like I'm like going back home for like a month, in which I told her. So like I don't know, I
Yeah.
can tell like, and like I think I told you this, but like she like straight up said like when we were hanging out, she's like, "So would you want to do this again?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, like like obviously." So
Okay,
so
so all right, I don't know if like this is I don't know how to ask this, I guess, but do you think that the more you hang out with her, even if it's supposed to just be for fun, like you could potentially maybe like fall into something that you weren't really considering?
for me, I don't think so. I think for her, maybe. And just kind of just like, not, I don't want to sound like cocky or anything, but I guess it just kind of like the vibe a little bit of just like eventually like talking after and just like hanging out. Cause like obviously like it wasn't like, things were done and she left. She actually ended up staying over just because it like ended up being late. And she was like, "Do you mind if I stay over?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's totally fine." But
Yeah, I do mind is what you said.
yeah, so like, I don't know. I think for me, not at this point, no. And especially just like long term, also, like I know I'm not gonna stay in LA forever. So and like she has like a job where like she's probably gonna be there for a very long time. And she's like never left California. Like except like once. So like she doesn't so it's just
So
like
she's from there, like lived
yeah,
there
yeah,
her
yeah.
whole life, everything. Okay,
Yeah. So
gotcha. No, I mean, I just asked because there's always times where people like, you know what, we're kind of just like messing around, we're like friends with benefits, whatever you want to call it, and then a few
one
months go by and
person,
it's like,
yeah.
oh, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Yeah, either it's one person or then or both, or like, you know
Yeah.
what, like we've been doing this for a while, like let's see what happens. And then I personally think that those don't really last too long. I you know, and I'm not saying from experience because I haven't really had something like that happen, but just from seeing it, like I feel like a relationship kind of built off of just the initial way it was built off of, to leave it at
It's
that,
tough.
is not the strongest. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. Yeah, I agree.
So, but I guess okay. So you asked me about my date.
So yeah, yours had a
Yeah.
much
So
more normal, uh, very heartfelt start.
well, it was yeah. To your point, it was obviously way different than your situation. I mean, it was good though. I mean, it was okay. So again, we were both kind of, you know, a little not protective. What's the right word? Cautious
Cautious.
of the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
COVID thing. But realistically, we weren't doing anything crazy. We went out to dinner, grabbed a few drinks, and I mean, I don't drink, but he, got some food and hung out. And it was more of just like a get to know you kind of thing. I'm not as familiar. I just moved out here. So I'm not so familiar with the area. Like we got into a conversation. She was like willing to kind of show me a cool spot. And it was cool. It was fun. We had a great conversation. We're sitting there. Honestly, like we sat there and talked for like 3 hours. Like,
So, when's the last time you've had like a first date that actually went like that, if ever?
um, oof, if ever.
Yeah.
Whew. I mean, I think I have had one like this before and it went well and I ended up dating that person. So,
Is she the same type of? Is she the same type of person?
no. No, this is what's funny is like this girl is completely different than the normal style girl I normally am like with, honestly. Like personality wise, like she's a very cute girl. Okay, maybe different kind of look than I normally am, like
Mm.
I'm normally with, but very cute girl. Um, almost like an innocent type. Like I feel like in the past, like I've dated a lot of girls that kind of come off as like that snobby or like bitchy,
Mm.
and high maintenance type
Ah,
girl.
look
And
at me,
this,
look at me. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like this girl's more of like an innocent cute. You know what I mean?
Like
Like
wifey. She's wifey.
wifey type. Yeah, like put together. I mean, just the little things of like, like I said, different style of what I'm usually like attracted to, but very cute. And like just little things like how she was like, how she talked, the tilt of her head, like, dude. And when I know we talked off screen before about this, and you're like, oh fuck, you're hooked.
You
Like, you know what
love
I mean? Like,
her.
I'm
You
talking about
love
the.
her.
I get the L word out of here right
Oh
now,
my
but
goodness.
like, yeah, like the little. That's what's crazy. Like, I knew that I wanted to go out again with her, like as for another, for a second date. Once I was like, oh shit, like I thought the way her friggin' head moved was cute, or like the way she put her hair behind her ear, like that shit I thought was cute. And also, like, this is we've talked about this in the past too, but like just sound of her voice was cute. Like you know how someone's
She
voice
has
is
a
like you can
attractive voice.
tell
Yeah.
she had an attractive voice. And it was like a very cute and innocent voice. And it's like all the other things that we like the conversation we had and the things that we talked about was very like I don't know if
Grown
there's a
up
way to
and
just yeah,
like
but like not even just to say grown up, but like
natural.
yeah, it was easy.
Yeah. You felt like you kind of knew each other, not like super uncomfortable to get. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't uncomfortable. Like, yeah, it's a good way to put it. Like, we kind of knew each other already.
Which is so
Um,
cliche to say, but I totally think that's a thing like between people.
so you're thinking like that's a great sign or
Yeah,
moving
absolutely.
forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I also feel
I
like
mean,
at that point when you feel kind of like that, I feel like it's way easier to like talk about things or like actually like when you're sometimes like meeting new people, you kind of like when like that specific conversation ends about a certain topic and it kind of ends and you kind of just like sit there and you're like shit, like what do I talk about, like what do I bring up, like all right, like there's silence.
yeah,
And I feel like with someone like that, you kind of like it eases into where you can just like say something like totally off topic, and but it'll be like, oh, like I don't know, like totally switch the conversation, but it'll act like it's like it's not weird, like it's just like
yeah.
totally like a new topic and it flows right into that. So I think that that's good, where it's just like you could talk about anything, you know.
I think that that's such a great point, and it's funny you bring that up because I now that you're saying it, I'm thinking back to like while we were talking and like that stuff kind of happened. Like
Hmm.
there was a topic that we were talking about, and it just like all right, the conversation of that topic was over, but we just flowed right into something else.
Yeah.
And like I love to eat. Like
Yeah.
I literally stuffed my face when I go out to eat. But like we were sitting there, and like my food got cold because we were just talking so long. Like
Uh-oh.
we like.
You're
Don't
in
start with
trouble,
the L.
dude.
All right.
Uh,
All right. So yes, it went well. Definitely a different situation than you. I mean, like I said, I want to go on another date with her. She was great. No problem seeing where it goes.
did
And
you
looking forward to seeing where it goes. What?
did you text her the night after or the day after?
So that's a really good question because I wasn't sure what the right play was. I didn't
Mm.
want to seem like I felt like respectfully I was thinking about texting her, hey, I had a great time, like, hope you got home safe or something like that. Which will lead me into another question, so don't let me forget.
Hmm.
But she actually texted me that
Really?
night. I was gonna wait till the next day and say like, hey, I had a great time last night, whatever. She actually texted me, not the next day, but that night
Okay.
and thanked me for like taking her out and I mean honestly she took me out because she was like kind of showing me the area and stuff but obviously I paid for everything but you know regardless like it was her kind of in a way taking me out to get me acclimated with the area
Hmm.
and see a couple cool places and walk around a little bit and but she texted me thanks for dinner, I had a really great time and we just got into a quick conversation that night about like hopefully seeing each other again. um, she ended up texting me the next morning, and yeah, so we were planning on hanging out again.
So, okay, so did you schedule like so it's already basically like scheduled at this point. Now, are you gonna go keep the same kind of like atmosphere? You're not gonna like go upscale or downscale. You're gonna kind of keep the same kind of like fanciness of the restaurant. Like you don't want to like.
See, I don't know. I mean, I kind of picked a place already. Because all right, so this time she told me it was on me to try to figure out where we're gonna go.
So you picked a
Because
place a week before you're even gonna see her again.
I mean, listen, it's a long story. It's not a long story, but yes, I picked a place because of it was based off a conversation that we had. If that makes sense.
Not because you're in love with her.
Yo, are you gonna get over this L word or
Sorry,
what?
sorry,
Like,
sorry.
come on now.
But yeah, no,
So
okay, that's
it's
okay.
way too soon to be throwing out that word
It's true.
or whatever. Like, yes, do I like her? Do I want to see her again? Sure, but I mean, just because I have some,
Butterflies.
positive. Oh yeah, we can call butterflies. Like, yeah, like I had a good time, so it was good. But just because I had some positive feelings towards a girl after a first date doesn't mean, the wedding bells are ringing right now.
Well, you've been
You
on a
know,
few stinkers recently, though. No,
I have, I
so
have.
yeah.
Um, we don't need to get into full detail about those, but we'll just say we'll leave it at that. They weren't the greatest, and respectfully, I will not get not mention too much, but um, you got to go through some of them, right?
No,
You gotta,
absolutely.
you gotta, you gotta. You're gonna eventually have a bad date in your life. If you didn't, then you weren't out there enough. I
Yeah,
feel like,
I agree.
but so it leads to my question. I was gonna say that I wanted to circle back to is
Hmm.
like I offered to pick her up for the to take her out, obviously,
Hmm.
and she meant like this is the first time we're ever hanging out. We really didn't like know each other well or anything, so she said, "Hey, listen, I appreciate it, but I'm actually going to be out and in the area, so I can just meet you there." Now, do you think that's like a cautious play on her end of like, who knows how if I'm a creeper or anything like that, or like if it is a weird situation, she can leave whenever she wants or whatever,
I
or
would
was it
say
just that she was actually in the area?
so. It very well could be, and I feel like you probably could have found that out. Honestly, like if you asked like so, like what you do today, you remember. I think honestly, for most girls nowadays, yes. That's probably just like, hey, I'm gonna go there by myself, meet him. If I have to leave, I want to leave by myself. Have a friend get me or something like
Hmm.
that.
I mean,
Especially like picking her up, like even if like that's just like I feel like you hear a lot of crazy stories about like like This is like a totally wild thing. We don't have to get into like stalkers and things like that. Just like
Ted
girls don't,
Bundy.
yeah, like girls just don't feel like comfortable, like like
No, I get
having
it.
him
Like,
know where they live right away.
yeah, and the reason I brought it up was because honestly, I kind of thought it was a cool thing that she did it that way.
Yeah, it
The
makes it.
fact that, like,
Yeah,
it makes it seem like she's responsible. You know
yeah.
what I mean? And like, I kind of liked it. Because like I'm not a weird dude or anything, and like obviously, respectfully, I always would offer no matter what, even if they don't want me to.
Hmm.
So that's just like how I am. But the fact that she, in a polite way, just basically said no, I'll meet you there. Like, it was honestly, I found it kind of cool.
Yeah.
Um, and then like I said, when we were leaving, like I said, get home safe and everything. So I guess that kind of leads into a secondary question of, now that you're not driving the person home or anything, like, do you think, like, all right, so have you been on a first date with someone? Like, I have kind of like a rule, right, that I have for myself, right? And basically it's, if I'm going on a first date with someone and I consider myself going on another date with them, and thinking I might like this person and want to see where it goes, my rule is that I make sure I do not do anything physical with that person that night.
Hmm.
Kiss them, like, do anything more than that, go home with them, whatever. Because number one, if they offer to do any of that and go home with them or come over, whatever, like, that just goes to show, like, maybe that they're not on the same page as me if I'm like looking to actually date
Settle
them.
down. Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing is, if I do try to, um, then I don't know, it might put off the wrong vibe.
No. Yeah. I
So
think.
my rule is not to do it. Now, granted, if I think it's someone that's cool, like I like them, but I don't think I would really date them, and they seem like, hey, they might be down to, like, have a good time, then that's when I'll be like, all right, you know what, screw it.
Yeah, and I think
So what do you think about that?
that's definitely something like an actual like date. Typically I'll just kind of say like nah, like I'll just like hug goodbye, or just like if it's, especially now with like COVID, like you just like say goodbye or whatever. It's not, you don't have to really do anything. That's fine. With I actually don't think I've ever like went in or like wanted to like, not like obviously maybe wanted to, but like never actually like tried to like kiss somebody after a first date. Uh, which I think, I mean, that's like if I know I want to see them again, like yeah, I'm not, I'm not gonna bother, I'm not gonna try, because like eventually like that's the that's like the goal or whatever. But yeah, I think like for the whole like go home and go all the way and shit, like I feel like that is probably more. I feel like you probably know that more ahead of time, just like by like the conversations maybe.
Conversation, kind of like your situation.
Yeah, like maybe not even as
Yeah.
extreme as me, but like some people are like, hey, let's at least get drinks first, and do something. Or let's just like hang out and
Yeah.
get drinks and see what happens, so, stuff like that. So I think
Right. 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 Right.
that's it's more insinuated like that. But yeah, no, I think yeah, it's totally fine. I'll never, if I definitely want to see the person again, I'll just I'll never be pushy or anything like that. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I think that my whole rule in my head is just to kind of keep things slow,
No, absolutely.
because I think if you rush into something with someone that you actually like, it could just kind of muddy the water a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think that that's why I have that little mindset about it. But other than that, I mean, like I said, I had fun. I had a good time. We've You're already messing with me about it, so clearly, We'll leave it at the like word. I like her a little bit, and yeah, we're planning on going out. So like, it's obviously a different situation than yours, but I guess we both had a good Saturday night.
Absolutely. All right, recess is over, guys. Email us, write us in. If you guys have any other stories or topics you want us to talk about.
Yeah, you guys know the deal. We'll see you next time.